All right. Shalom, shalom. Let's get right into it. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema Rashah. Double honor to the apostle brothers, elders, and great millstone. Shalom to the whole for the elect. Shalom. So the title is Discerning the Times, right? Discerning the Time. So we're just going to get into some news, some articles, news, and that's all we get into. Things going on in the world. You see the title here, Discerning the Times. So let's go to Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, as the river of water, it turneth it whatsoever he will, right? His will. So let's get right to these. She's really, I always get messed up. All right.
Welcome back again, everyone. It's Dina Calmette here, and for today's news, I do have some headlines I'd like to share with you. And today, I'd like to start with North Korea. It has been reported that North Korea has fired a third ballistic missile into the sea on the eve of Kamala Harris's arrival in the South Korean capital on Wednesday. Wednesday's missile is the latest show of force from Kim Jong-un's regime, which fired two previous missiles into the waters off its eastern coast on Saturday and Sunday. Harris is scheduled to arrive in South Korea on Thursday as the U.S. and South Korean militaries hold joint exercises in the region. And prior to Saturday's launch, North Korea had not fired a ballistic missile since June. It goes on further to report that the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier arrived in South Korea on Saturday to participate in the war drills, sending a message both to North Korea and China with regard to its aggression towards Taiwan. In fact, Harris said on Wednesday that Washington will operate undaunted and unafraid throughout Asia, including in the Taiwan Strait. Harris has accused China of disturbing behavior in the East China Sea and South China Sea and provocations across the Taiwan Strait. She said that the United States believes that peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait is an essential feature of a free and open Indo-Pacific. We will continue to fly, sail, and operate undaunted and unafraid wherever and whenever international law allows. It goes on further to report that in recent months, Joe Biden has said that American troops would come to Taiwan's aid in the event of a Chinese invasion, even despite Washington's official policy of strategic ambiguity on the matter. In the meantime, South Korea's president has expressed reluctance about helping the U.S. defend Taiwan against a potential Chinese attack. The South Korean president believes that his country's military and American troops stationed on the peninsula need to focus on the increased risk of conflict with North Korea. He stated that in the case of military conflict around Taiwan, there would be an increased possibility of North Korean provocation. Therefore, he said in that case, the top priority for Korea and the U.S.-Korean alliance on the Korean peninsula would be based on our robust defense posture. We must deal with the North Korean threat first. He also stated that for South Korea, the most imminent threat is North Korea's nuclear missile threat. Now, with that said, to go back to Harris's remarks, she stated that the U.S. administration intends to develop its unofficial ties with Taiwan, despite China's fierce opposition. Speaking to American sailors aboard a U.S. warship in Japan, Harris lashed out at China, accusing Beijing of undermining key elements of international rules-based order. She said that China has challenged the freedom of the seas and has flexed its military and economic might to coerce and intimidate its neighbors. Harris also went on to state that amid the high tensions in the region, the Biden administration expects continued aggressive behavior from Beijing. She describes as a unilateral Chinese effort to undermine status quo. She pledged that the U.S. would continue to support Taiwan's self-defense and deepen their unofficial ties with Taiwan. As the U.S. seeks stronger ties with Taiwan, Chinese and Russian warships conducted a joint patrol near Alaska last week and prompted a Coast Guard cutter and C-130 transport to monitor the ship movements. The first Chinese ship spotted was the guided missile cruiser Renhe and was about 75 miles north of Kiska Island. 2 other Chinese naval vessels and 4 Russian naval ships were also part of the joint Chinese-Russian convoy that sailed in a single formation, according to the statement by the Coast Guard. The joint naval operation is the latest sign of growing military cooperation between Beijing and Moscow. It goes on further to report that the Chinese ship sailed within the U.S. exclusive economic zone, and as a result, the Coast Guard carried out an operation called Operation Frontier Sentinel. The operation uses Coast Guard ships from the 17th District to mobilize when strategic competitors operate in and around U.S. water. This is the second year in a row that Chinese warships sailed into the U.S. monitored waters near Alaska. A year ago, Coast Guard cutters were deployed to monitor 4 Chinese warships that were part of a surface group sailing about 50 miles off the Aleutians. And earlier this month, on September 11th, Russia conducted military reconnaissance flights by 2 Tu-142 maritime patrol aircraft near Alaska. In addition to that, the U.S. and its allies have increased intelligence gathering and surveillance over concerns that Russia could use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. The West is worried that signs of Moscow deciding to unleash the unthinkable might come too late. The ramping up of spying activities occurred after an address by Putin a week ago, in which he slammed some senior officials in NATO states for suggesting that using nuclear weapons against Russia was justified. He made it clear that such a move won't be left unanswered, noting that Russia has its own arsenal of destructive weapons, some of which surpass those of his Western counterpart. He stated that if the territorial integrity of our nation is threatened, we will certainly use all means that we have to defend Russia and our people. It's not a bluff. Now, Putin's words were interpreted by politicians and media in the U.S. and EU as a veiled threat that Russia could deploy nuclear weapons during the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. A U.S. government official stated, "We're watching it more closely, with access to intelligence on Moscow's nuclear forces and strategy." Jake Sullivan on Sunday said that the United States will respond decisively if Putin moves to nuclear weapons. He stated that we have communicated directly, privately, and at very high levels to the Kremlin that any use of nuclear weapons will be met with catastrophic consequences for Russia, and we have been clear and specific about what that will entail. We have in public been equally clear as a matter of principle that the United States will respond decisively if Russia uses nuclear weapons, and that we will continue to support Ukraine in its efforts to defend its country and defend its democracy. The U.S. Embassy in Moscow said in a new security alert that U.S. citizens should not travel to Russia and urged those traveling or residing in the country to get out immediately, warning that the dual nationals could be conscripted for military service as the Russian leadership scrambles to find more people to fight in Ukraine. In the meanwhile, the Russian deputy foreign minister said that the U.S. is taking an increasingly aggressive stance towards Moscow, but no amount of economic sanctions and political pressure can sway it from defending its national interests. He said that Moscow's diplomacy regarding the U.S. is an exercise in crisis management. He described the U.S. behavior as being increasingly confrontational and worrisome. He said that we can see how the Americans are trying to mobilize their satellites, their vassals, to confront Russia in a more aggressive and hardline manner. Washington's irresponsible, extremely aggressive, extremely assertive course is bringing us all to the dangerous line. We are warning against maintaining this course. Time and time again, we've told them to use the most neutral term, that they have to back off and stop escalating the situation. In the meanwhile, just yesterday, the EU has threatened the strongest possible response to Putin, for which they say is a deliberate sabotage of the Nord Stream gas pipeline, amid fears that the Kremlin blew it up off the coast of Sweden, causing a 3,000-wide bubble plume and sending prices spiking. The European Commission's chief on Tuesday said that the leaks of the Nord Stream pipelines were caused by sabotage and warned of the strongest possible response should active European energy infrastructure be attacked. The Nord Stream pipe from Russia suffered unprecedented damage, with explosions heard near the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipes. Gas is now leaking into the Baltic from 3 holes, scientists have confirmed, while chronic safety concerns have led to a 5-mile exclusion zone being imposed around the affected area. The Danish Prime Minister has said that her government believes that the leaks were caused by deliberate actions, adding that the gas supply pipeline will be out of action for around a week. She said that it is now a clear assessment by authorities that these are deliberate actions. It was not an accident. There is no information yet to indicate who may be behind this action. Now, with that said, Russia has requested a UN Security Council meeting over the pipeline damage, and the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson has asked who the EU intends to punish with the strongest possible response for the damage to the pipelines. The diplomat stated that Poland's former foreign minister has already identified the US as the party behind the apparent sabotage. The Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson says that I don't get it. Sikorsky thanked the US for what had happened. So, whom is Ursula threatening here? She wrote on social media. She was apparently referring to a photo of the site where the explosions occurred on Twitter with the words, "Thank you, USA." He described the incident as a special maintenance operation. He also added that there's no shortage of pipeline capacity for taking gas from Russia to Western Europe, including Germany. Now, with all of that said, there is a video of Joe Biden stating that he will end the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. Speaking to reporters on February 7th, Biden said, if Russia invades, that means.
So that you see the times that we are in. A lot of people have no idea what's going on. But let's go some scriptures. Move along. Okay, what is it? Oops. Got that still on there. Get that out. We're moving kind of slow, but it's all right. All right, let's get right. Let's just go to Proverbs 21, verse 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, as the river of water, he turned it, whatsoever his will, right? Whatsoever his will. All right, let's move on. All right, let's go to, what if we got? Chapter 12, verse 1. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1, it said, remember now the Creator in the day of thy youth, why the evil draw, when the evil day come not, nor the year draw near, when they should say, I have no pleasure in them, right? Remember now the Creator in thy youth. Read it again, 12, Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1, it said, remember now the Creator in the day of thy youth, why the evil day come not, nor the year draw near, when they should say, I have no pleasure. No, they should say it. I have no shit. They should say I have no pleasure in them. Right? Women created in that youth. All right, move on. Well, let's go to Isaiah. Always get into this. Isaiah 9 and 5. Isaiah 9 and 5. It say, oh, Pastor. Isaiah 9 verse 5. It said, every battle of the world is with confusion noise, and a garment rolled in blood, but this shall be burning with fear of fire, right? Burning fear of fire. Isaiah 9 verse 5. For every battle of the world is a confusing noise, and the garment rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fear of fire. All right, let's go to Isaiah. Um, 34, verse 1. Isaiah 34, verse 1. It said, come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you people, let the earth hear, and all things that come forth. Oh, I'm messing up. Come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you peoples, let the earth hear, and all that is therein the world and all things that come forth of it. Verse 2, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, his fury upon all their armies. He had only destroyed them, and he had delivered them to the slaughter, right? He had delivered them to the slaughter. Isaiah 34, verse 8, it said, for it's a day of the Lord vengeance in a year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. I'm messing up. No, yeah, get that. Isaiah 55, verse 6. Let's go to Isaiah 55, verse 3. It said, incline your ears and come unto me. and hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercy of David. Verse 6, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near, right? Call upon him while he is near. Isaiah 55, verse 7, it said, let the wicked forsake his ways, and the righteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him to our power, for he will do pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heaven are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Isaiah 55, verse 6 again, it says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near, right? Seek ye the Lord. Jeremiah, um, I forget this. Is it 50? Yeah, I think it's Jeremiah 51st, 46. Jeremiah 50, verse 2, declare you among the nation, and publish and set upon and stand. Set up a stand and publish it, and is sealed not, saying, Babylon is taken, Babel is confounded, Midian is broken in pieces, and her idol is confounded, her image are broken in pieces. Verse 3, for out of the north there came up a nation against her, which should make her land desolate, and none should dwell therein. They should remove, they should depart, both man and beast. Right? Both man and beast. Yes, Jeremiah 50, verse 46. Is this it? Get what was that? We see, the Lord is taken against Babylon purpose. Oh yeah. Jeremiah 50 verse 45. Therefore, hear you the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon, his purpose, that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldean. Surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Surely he should make them inhabit desolate with them. Let me see. Shall I read? Nope. Let's read again. Jeremiah 50 verse 45. It said, therefore, hear you the counsel of the Lord that he had take against Babylon, and his purpose that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldean. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make them inhabit desolate with them. Man, desolate with them. Let's go to Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Jeremiah 51, verse 6. We got here. Okay, Jeremiah 51, verse 6. It said, fleet. Let me see. Let's go to verse 5. Jeremiah 51, verse 5. For Israel had not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power of the Lord of the hosts, though they had thought their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon had been to go to cut in the Lord's hand, to make all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad, right? The nations are mad. The nations are mad. What's called? Let's go look at this. As you see here, time that we are. How much? Man, it's the right one. Kind of slow. Is that the one? Come on, man. Get the other one. It's all the same, but yeah, it's it right. And you see Putin here, the secret meeting that could destroy America. Man, it's serious, right? Sermon, the time, right? You know, quote this thing, man. Come on, man, work with me, right? See, uh, slowly going up. That's crazy. I don't know what he's doing to get stuck. Okay, there we go. I got it. As you see, it's a prime minister for after Biden would make to close on Monday that he intends to serious confront a meeting with Europe and American leaders on the sideline of the United States General Assembly last week. I ain't trying to read all that, just want to look. Well, we just look at it and you see, oh boy, stuck. You know, as you see here, that's all I want to see right here. I want to see all that. Man, so you see the time that we are in. Okay, let's go to Jeremiah 51 verse 7. It said, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand to make all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad, right? The nations are mad. The nations are mad. The nation. Let's see here. Man, this is serious, man. What we got? You got the hurricane going on. All these things. What is this? Let's see that play this. It's a dark commercial. I think it is a commercial. Oh, they let me play it. Yep. Okay, I don't want to hear it. It's a commercial. Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh man, what's going on? I know this laptop is slow. State Russia use nuclear weapons. They work with it. Got too much stuff on here, but we work with it though. Here's a scripture temple. We'll work with it. Let's see what it gives me. Powerful. All right. So it take time. So we'll come back to this. So Jeremiah 51 verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen, destroy and destroy her for us, and yeah, for her take blame for her pain. If so be, she may be healed, right? She may be healed. We will heal Babylon, but she is not here. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone unto his own country, for her judgment is reach up to heaven and and lift up even to the sky, right? let's go back to Jeremiah 51 verse 7. He said, Babylon had been a golden cup in the lower hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad, right? The nations are mad. It's not playing. It's just, oh, now it's trying to do it now. Right? I'm trying to be too long, just trying to get this and this. All right, let it take time. Happens with scriptures. They should be already ready. Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 25. If they don't have it yet. There you go, right there. Let's get right into it. Let's get right to this. See what we got here. Watch a little bit it is. 6 minutes of what that much. Come on, man. I just pressed you already. You ain't trying to come on.
That we are seeing play out on the streets of Russia. People protesting, some even leaving the country, men saying they do not want to be a part of the draft. How would you assess this moment, how Putin is handling the war in Ukraine right now? Is he losing the war?
Obviously, President Putin is losing the war in Ukraine. So his reaction to it is to launch the mobilization. But the mobilization doesn't seem to help him win the war, because so far we witnessed the Ukrainian armed forces that defeated the Russian professional soldiers. It's very unlikely that those who are being now mobilized, those who are poorly trained and poorly equipped, are going to change the course of the war. But on the other hand, the mobilization as such can mean a breakthrough, but somewhere else, at the Russian domestic front. Because so far, the war was so popular, at least for the majority of the Russian population, up to 80%. And now, every Russian family will have to take their own position towards the war, knowing that their loved ones can be sent there and they can be killed there.
He's losing the support of his own people, it sounds like is what you're saying.
Well, I believe this is going to be a longer process, but the direction of this process has been already determined.
We are seeing a final day of voting for these referenda that are taking place in the Russian-held territories of Ukraine. How concerned are you about a further escalation if Putin feels as though he is being backed into a corner?
Legally, the referenda do not mean anything.
You see them as a sham, like the United
That's
States
right,
says.
because the international community is not going to recognize the results. But nevertheless, from the military perspective, this could help Putin to justify extraordinary means to defend these conquered territories considered a part of Russian Federation.
I want to ask you about some comments that we have heard recently, including from the National Security Advisor here in the United States, who told Chuck Todd on Sunday that there would be, quote, catastrophic consequences should Putin use nuclear weapons. The NATO Secretary General said just today there would be severe consequences. My question to you, Mr. Foreign Minister, is how should NATO respond if Putin uses nuclear weapons?
NATO should respond decisively and firmly.
Militarily? Should they respond militarily?
To the best of our knowledge, Putin is threatening to use tactical nuclear weapons on Ukrainian soil, not to attack NATO, which means that NATO should respond in a conventional way, but the response should be devastating. And I suppose this is the clear message that NATO alliance is sending to Russia right now.
And just to be clear, Mr. Foreign Minister, when you say NATO should respond in a devastating way, do you mean militarily or economically with more sanctions?
Quite frankly, if Putin is going to break the consensus of five permanent members of the Security Council, all of them are nuclear powers. And so far there's a consensus that nuclear weapons cannot be used under no circumstances. So the response should be conventional.
I want to ask you about this new human rights report that we are getting from the UN, recently published, detailing instances of rape and torture of children, in addition to what we have seen play out these.
It's like, see, the time that we got in, we'll do that long. Done with that. All right, let's go to the scriptures and we're going to move along. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. We're going to move along. I try not to be too long, but you know how it is. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. It says, destruction is coming, and there shall see peace. There shall be none, right? Destruction is coming. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction is coming, and there shall see peace, and there shall be none. Okay, let's go to Joel. No, Joel 2. Let's go to 10. Joel chapter 2, verse 10. Yeah, they should run to and fro in the city, and they should run upon the wall. They should climb up upon the houses. They should enter into the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon should be darkness, and the stars should withdraw thy shine. Verse 11, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that execute his words. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. And who can abide it? Right? Who can abide it? Let's move on. Let's go to Joel chapter 3, verse 14. Joel 3, verse 14. It said, let's go to verse 12. It said, let the heathens be weak and come up to the valley of decision. Therefore I will judge. Therefore I was set to judge all the heathens round about. Pick up your stilted, and for the harvest is ripe, and come get you down, for the press is full, the fatness overflow, for the wicked is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right? Yeah, the Lord is near. All right, let's go to Luke 21, verse 34. Yeah, 21. Luke 21, verse 34. It said, and take heed to yourself, let any time your heart be overcharged, suffer and drink it, and carrying of this life, and so the day that come upon you unaware, for as the snare shall come, all that dwell upon the face of the whole earth. Watch you therefore, and pray always, that you may be accountable to escape all those things should come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man, right? Stand before the Son of Man. Again, Luke 21, verse 36, it said, watch you therefore and pray always, that you may be kind of worthy to escape all those things that come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man, right? You gotta get one more scripture. Make sure. Got it on pause. See some? Okay. Let me see how much time. Okay. All right, let's go to I'm tripping. All right, let's go to Revelation. Nope, I forgot one more scripture. Did I go to Revelation? Matthew 16, verse 1. I forgot about that. Let's go to Matthew 16, verse 3. Matthew 16, verse 3. It say, in the morning it will be far weather today, for the sky is red. And Lord, oh, you hypocrite, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the time, right? Discern the signs of the time. All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. It said, blessed is he that readeth, and hears the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand, right? For the time is at hand. All right, let's go to Revelation 11, verse 14. Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Right, the third woe coming quick. Again, Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Coming quick.
These sayings are faithful and true. And the Lord God of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And I, John, saw these things, and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship God. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he which is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah! Salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. And again they said, Hallelujah, and the smoke rose up forever and ever. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. And whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven.
And what is our destiny? To be in this truth. To be in this truth and to make it to the end. As it is written, to finish the work. Like Yahushua said, I finished the work. You know? The Apostle Paul said the same thing. Henceforth I know there's a crown of righteousness that is laid up for me. Okay, that is our destiny.
All right, Shalom. We're going to close it out. Give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. By Shema Shah. Don't lie to the apostle brothers, early Bay Millstone. Shalom to the hope for the elect. Shalom.